When you're ready, we'll open the meeting.
Ready.
Oh, hi, Barry.
When they're coming in.
No, that's when they send the plan.
Oh.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jack, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Want to go for a jog?
Where's that?
I don't know. I figured you'd be ready to go running by now.
Huh. I did walk today and I drove today.
Oh, good job.
And my physical therapist let me loose. Now I go to outpatient physical therapy. So it's all progress, right?
Good to hear. Good to hear.
So you opening the meeting?
Let's open the meeting for 6:02. Yes, that's different. Isn't it?
Different than,
Just go at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, okay. We'll go 6.
I can make a motion to approve the minutes for 12/4/23.
Second. Aye.
You?
I guess Jack, you want to start with this zoning discussion with the water district?
Sure. Is this the aquifer overlay?
Yes.
As you know, the town, I've been working with consultant Woodward and Curran for, God, almost my entire tenure here now, investigating the possibility of discovering a potable water source for now or certainly in the future. And lo and behold, after a whole bunch of analysis and testing, we found one down off of Thayer and Providence. And it has good water quality, which is extremely rare. And it has plenty of capacity. But when they were looking at our zoning bylaws, we have a rather large aquifer in town that's not protected from obnoxious uses. And it really, when you think about it, I've worked in other towns that don't have public water supplies or aren't looking at them, but they want to protect the aquifer for the homeowners. So that they don't have to suffer and deal with whatever they'd have to deal with to try to clean up their wells. So Woodard and Curran put together a draft overlay district. I think Dylan's going to share it with us. It's rather large. The town has a large aquifer all on the eastern side of town. Do you have the map, Dylan? So there you go. It's, quite a bit of town.
Bylaw
Um,
for water.
but we are strongly advised by DEP, by our consultant Woodard and Curran, and it's just good practice to put an extra layer of caution on any kind of potentially obnoxious development that would happen within this district. Now, the ones that come to mind in my mind are junkyards, fuel disposable, fuel transfer sites, even gas stations. As far as the transfer sites and gas stations, they can meet the criteria, but they'd have to do certain things with their holding tanks and how they handle their product. All the new gas stations, every new gas station does that now anyway. And the ones, I think there's only 2 grandfathered in this district. One's on Cape Road and one is the one, I think it's on Milford, no? Milford. Where is it?
Hastings? Is it the one on Hastings? It's
Yeah.
right on the edge. Yeah.
Right on the edge. It might not even be.
Imperial.
in.
Yeah. It's right on the edge of it. So it might not even be.
It might not
It might
be.
be
in.
the parcel over from it. So it might not actually be part
And
of it.
they'd be grandfathered, but if they ever had to dig up their tanks and redo them, they'd have to do them anyway by the current bylaw, which would pass this. So I'd like to have the planning board help sponsor this. I know the Board of Selectmen want to sponsor it. I asked for a placeholder. It is on the draft warrant. And I think the language was sent to you. It's pretty extensive. This is right off of the state bylaw that is recommended in at least every town I've worked in the last 20 years has a similar bylaw. Of course, they don't have an aquifer quite as big as this. Some of them do, actually. I worked in Carver. The whole town was an aquifer. And it was on wells. And they struggled. Then they had to clean their act up. So
So Jack, just to make sure I understand, hi, by the way, so this is literally just this would be regardless of the current state we're at and what we might be considering for public water supply, et cetera, this is literally just to protect the resource that we have.
correct.
And
Whether
have
we
some
do
guidelines
a water,
going forward.
whether we do a public water system tomorrow or our great grandchildren do it.
Yeah.
It's just protecting, and it's protecting you today.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
The
not
wells
you,
that already
Jen.
exist, yeah.
Gotcha.
You're gonna protect the homeowners' wells.
Well, it's
Yeah.
protecting everybody in that area that has a well, that could have a neighbor that is
Dumping.
doing something. I mean, it's tough to police every house lot, but I get where you're going with it, and
Yep.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I don't either. I wanted to make sure about some of these uses, especially the gas stations. Luckily, there's only one probably. He might even be up to, it's not, the one on Cape isn't that old, is it, the gas station?
No, but I bet you that's what, maybe 8 to 10
Yeah,
years
I'd
old.
say tops.
10, yeah.
So he might be up to the standards anyway. He would be if he isn't, he'd be grandfathered till he dug them up again.
This is not restricting anything with people. I know I had already had a brief discussion with Dylan about it, but we're not restricting anybody to build a addition on their house or build.
No.
I mean, it's
No.
just all, like you said,
Actually, I would make the argument that if you wanted to build addition to your house and you needed to have more well capacity, you know, this helps protect you.
or it's not taking land away from the town to do anything with, or anybody in the residents in the town
Nope.
to build a
No.
house or to do whatever
No.
they want to do on a lot of land.
Yeah.
Jack, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but and I'm not familiar with the state guidelines, but are there things such as restriction of use or
Yeah.
drawing excessive water as part of the protection?
No, not that I know
Like a
of.
bottling plant, for example.
The best of my knowledge, that would be dictated by DEP, and that would be dictated by what they call the Water Management Withdrawal Act. And they would, now I'm assuming they need like 100,000 gallons a day, which is crazy amount. But even that would be monitored and covered by DEP, and they would have to have a professional
So that's on a per case
distribution.
basis,
Yes,
per
yes,
project
that,
basis. Gotcha,
they would have to have professionals running their well.
gotcha.
I think you're allowed to take out 100,000 gallons a day without a
Yep.
permit. You know, if you had like a place where you could take it, you're allowed up to 100,000.
Yeah, I can actually speak to that because I did work in a town, Carver, that did that. And they were allowed they're allowed to withdraw without any extraordinary measures. They still had to treat it. And they still had to get permission on the location and have it verified by a geologist that they were getting what they said they were getting. So it's still monitored, but you're right. You're right, Damon. You don't have to go through this extensive.
Right.
Excellent.
For public water supply.
Carl has his hand up. Carl,
Yeah.
do you want to say something?
Yeah, you able to hear me?
Yep.
Okay, is this going to be a regulation or a bylaw? Is this going to need approval by town meeting, a town vote, or to select board?
This will be a zoning bylaw. It will need 2/3 approval by the town meeting.
Okay. And is there a town bylaws committee yet, or that would be looking over this?
You're looking at them. It's, you know, we're moving a little quickly on this, I admit it. We were strongly encouraged to do this immediately. And this bylaw is well known by
Okay,
anybody.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be in the situation we had last time where we rushed to pass a bylaw and it caused problems in interpretation.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that, but
Yeah, this is, it's, the DEP is
their
the one
model.
who,
Okay.
they modeled it, yeah. So this is really from them, and a lot of the towns are using the same sort of model.
So our peer
Yeah.
towns and within, 2 or 3 towns with us also having this
oh, yeah.
particular, okay.
Yeah, yep.
Jack, was there some catalyst for the urgency?
Just because, listen, I'm gonna get back to the location and the finding of a good potable public water source. Not every town has one, and I didn't think we were gonna find one after we went behind the senior center. That was our number one choice, and it came up dry, not dry, but not good enough, and it had some contamination. So I was losing hope here. You have a diamond in the rough here. Again, whether we do it now or later. And they strongly urged us to try to get this done immediately. And I know the selectmen wanted it in front of you. I don't know if Mike Goddard is here. He was behind it um, as well as the next bylaw recommendation. But there's a little bit of momentum we have now. Can I answer every single question? No, but I'll try to be as versed as I can when we have the public hearing. If you decide to move forward, there has to be a public hearing by you. We will have that in April. And it has to go in front of the FinCom and the Board of Selectmen, and then obviously town meeting. And I will promise you, I'll get as well versed in this. I used to be, it's the same bylaw I've used in other towns. It's just I haven't dealt with it that much lately.
Is there a downside to this? Because I'm not really coming up with one.
Well, we didn't identify any junkyards in the district or in the proposed overlay, which is a good thing because I was worried that might be a problem.
Yeah, no active ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
old ones.
other than I guess some people don't like extra layers of bylaws, I don't know one.
Now, grants are paying for everything as of right now. Right?
Town hasn't, I know, and I'm glad you brought that up, Damon. We're doing this water study. I think we've raised over $600,000 on grants and earmarks by the legislature, except the previous town administrator committed 62,000 to this study back in the summer before she left. So that's the only public, and that was ARPA money. So you could even make an argument that wasn't taxpayer money directly, at least.
So anything that's a big thing, I think, for a town meeting where the taxpayers are not they're gonna realize that you're doing this, but it's not costing, it's a grant. So I think a lot of people don't want to see their taxes being raised to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I think
I
we're in a
don't
good
see any
position.
direct correlation between taxes or this bylaw.
That's a good thing.
Again, I'll become better versed as we move along.
Thank you. Anything else? Any questions in the audience?
If you're disposed, I'd like a motion to place it on the warrant. That would be helpful.
Do we want to set a hearing date, or do you want to get a little further along?
Yeah, well, we could set the hearing date, nothing wrong with that. We also have a citizens petition that you are obligated to have a hearing date, whether you want it or not. It's on Bates Road. I haven't talked to Gail about the hearing date, but you're gonna have to have it in April, either the first meeting or the second meeting in April. Gail, do you have a preference on that? She
Well,
has to
The
advertise.
the next meeting is March 18th, so I would say probably the 15th of April would be good.
How about that?
Anybody to, setting a hearing?
I'm all set to set a hearing.
mean,
I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Everybody is agreeable to that? Yeah.
Okay, are we doing
Well,
not two things at one time here?
Talking about the water.
Meeting, don't you?
How
Yeah.
about you do this? How about you set the public hearing date for the citizens petition and this article for April 15th at 6 p.m.
What is a citizen petition?
It's on Bates Road. Is that Eric in the? I
Yes,
can't.
it is.
Hey, it's Eric's petition. Maybe he can explain it. What I read was his lot. He believes at least some of it is business zoned and he wants to make it all residential. I think that's what it is.
All right, so let's do one at a time, yes.
I
Alright.
don't know what it was. That's
No.
all.
Okay, so let's set the public hearing for the discussion of the,
Overlay district.
for the overlay district for the water.
Yep.
Okay, somebody has to make a motion to set it to April 15th.
Public hearing for the overlay district for water, April 15th, 6 P M.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who's second? Was that John?
Yeah.
Okay.
April 15th, that's not Patriots Day, right?
It's,
No,
Just making sure we.
Yeah, it is.
it's
It
a
is.
holiday.
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna
Well,
suggest
shoot,
we go
I
to the
thought I
20.
Catch.
Why don't you have it the
I
first?
suggest you go to the 22nd. When is town meeting?
Why don't we just go to the first week, move it back a week?
22nd's Earth Day.
First and third.
How
Yeah,
appropriate.
can we do the first, you think?
What'd you
Do
think
the-
that?
do-
yeah.
You know, and we can
Boy,
do
yeah.
18th.
First and third Mondays.
Okay, so you're gonna write up the thing there so that I
Okay.
can put in the
Yeah, yeah,
paper?
yeah.
I can do all the.
Yeah, we'll do this week. Yeah, we'll do this.
I don't think we need to, let's push it out, because you said, like, he did have a good point. Okay, Hastings Street's probably gonna bleed over, so.
Yeah, yeah.
What's
Okay, well,
the
then-
discussion?
Just saying, Jack, that the Hastings opens on the 18th, the public
Yep.
hearing, so that's
Yeah.
probably gonna carry over to the next meeting, which would be the early.
Which would be the
April.
first,
So
April 1st.
just making sure we have enough time to cover multiple topics, that's all.
Yeah, that's gonna take a lot of your time, but who knows where it goes. So the options are the first meeting in April or the
Or the-
third week in April?
Yes.
We don't normally have a meeting that day though, right? Or
Right.
are we just gonna add
On
one
the
in?
third
If
week,
it's- if
because
it's-
that's the
If it's a holiday, we don't.
Yeah,
The
Tax day?
27th,
the 29th.
it would be the 22nd is gonna be the fourth week.
There's also the
So-
29th is the fifth weekend in April.
yeah, I don't wanna,
See the holiday here,
Yeah, it's too close to
the
town
April
meeting.
15th.
Yeah, yeah.
Barry can't be here the 29th.
Oh, yeah,
and
Patriots Day, yeah.
yeah.
can I chime in?
Okay, so
The
then,
Patriots Patriots
need
Day is the
to-
same day.
I
Oh,
need
okay.
someone to tell me when the town meeting is.
May. I think it's the 3rd, May 3rd.
Yeah, it has to be the 22nd.
Yeah, that's fine.
If the board makes no recommendation and there's less than 20 days, it gets a little dicey, but I don't see that happening here, so.
All right, so we're gonna set that public hearing date for April 22nd,
At 6 p.m.
6 P M.
Okay,
And then,
yeah, and John seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, Okay, so that's for the overlay district for the water.
for the water. And
Yeah,
then
and
I just
before
want
we
to make
get to
sure,
the, yeah, do Eric, yeah.
I just want
Yeah,
to get,
let's
I
do
want to
one
word
at
this
a time.
correctly so that we're,
Yeah.
so. What
Okay.
is it? I know we talked about
Yeah.
it briefly, but you didn't, what are you calling this?
Yes,
1 second.
hi, everybody. Eric Hodge, 3 Bates Street. Basically, in the course of us having, looked at the various site plans over the past couple of years, there's been inconsistency in how site plans and the town zoning map report my particular property. Some show it entirely rural residential, some show it partially rural residential. And we're just seeking to get it fully rezoned as rural residential, in accordance with its use. I think what happened is when we went from the hand-drawn zoning map to when CMRPC digitized it, it was just an error on the map. But, in the course of when I was working with the attorney last year, he just highlighted, hey, we should probably fix this while we're at it. So that's what the petition's all
Basically
about.
just cleaning up the lot.
Yeah.
And
That's a-
anybody else that has an issue.
That's a great
Mine's
way of,
specific to 3 Bates Street.
That's all you have to think about. That's what this law, that's what this.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it's a great way of putting it, cleaning up. We could get into what's certified by the clerk and what isn't. It doesn't matter. This will clean it up, period.
No, and I understand. That's a good thing to have.
Just clean up the map.
Yep. So we can
So
set
you'll-
that. Do we want to set
Yes,
a,
you have to set it. You don't have a choice whether you want to or not, but you have to set it.
18th is another good, another 22nd, is a good date for you?
Yeah.
I make a motion to set the zoning change by April 22nd.
6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 P.M.
For the citizen
The-
petition, right?
The petition.
Okay, John,
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, I think we got
so
one more.
April,
Oh, we got that taken care of. All right, thank you.
okay, there we go. Okay,
That's that. All right, Gail, you tell me when you're ready, or guys, are we good to go?
yep,
Okay, Jack, discussion on 35-37 Hastings. Are we just,
Oh, did we skip North Avenue?
yeah, you did.
I'm sorry, North Ave,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry,
Started
Yeah.
discussing North
Um,
Avenue.
I had numerous conversations with Selectman Goddard. This is the property, you all know it. It's on North and Milford, town owned. It's kind of how I ended up in Mendon is I was asked to write a bylaw, mixed use bylaw. And unfortunately or fortunately, it failed there twice. And now it's been at least preliminarily designated. It's the large parcel that you all know it. I know that, but the public might not. It's the large parcel that the senior center housing committee or the building committee has earmarked for the location they would like to put the senior center. I've been involved with their committees in the beginning to help them find a site. There were 4 sites. I truly believe this is the highest and best use. It's municipally owned. One of the arguments at town meeting that I heard over and over, especially by one individual, was that this was bought by the town to be used by the town. So there we are. Mike Goddard wanted to revisit placing the mixed use, what we call the RMUD, the age restricted multiple use district overlay on here. We tried that in the spring and it was shot. We withdrew it because it was going to get shot down. So he would like to revisit it. And I told him respectfully, I had 2 issues with it. One, at the time I talked to him, was that the senior center is going there and they are going to ask town meeting to finance the design and construction of the senior center at Springtown meeting. So I'd hate to make the leap and assume anything from town meeting. And so I think waiting till the fall, if at all, is a good idea. Secondly, and you guys know these parcels better than I do, the two corner parcels there, the two Pheno parcels, those two, the owner is coming in for a gas station convenience store for that intersection. I don't know when. We're meeting with his engineer on Wednesday just to see what they preliminarily have. But I strongly think probably by April or May, you're going to have a project in front of you for those two parcels. So without knowing that, without knowing exactly what town meetings appetite is going to be for the senior center, though I don't disagree with Mike, he likes the idea of having age-restricted housing near the senior center. I think it's a great idea. But I'd like to table it, to be honest with it. So he wanted, I don't know is he online? I did invite him.
See him.
Oh, wait, somebody's on the phone?
Jack,
Yes.
quick question.
No,
Now,
that's
where
okay.
are they gonna attempt to put the senior center?
Well, you got the cursor in back of those
Actually,
four lots there in the back somewhere.
Okay.
I don't have an exact location.
Okay, up on the higher side.
Yes.
And then. So what are you gonna do about the conservation restriction on the front?
There is none.
There's a
The
200-foot conservation restriction on
No,
16.
it's only on that greens piece, that sliver. Could you show them that? Yes. It's only that sliver. And
You
you
sure
have
of
a,
that?
yes, positive. I believe me, I know this parcel like any parcel in Mendon. And there's an emergency access also that would be used onto Milford. The main access for the senior center would be on North Street.
So you could do anything you want in that front piece on abutting Route 16, all the way up the hill.
No,
Okay, that's where the restriction is.
I didn't say that. Right, but the green, the light green, olive, whatever it is, that you can do anything you want, but not the dark green. That dark green has a restriction. You follow me?
North Ave parcel, which is what you have outlined, that's what we're talking about. The
Yeah.
dark green, which extends up from Muddy Brook, North Conservation, all that little strip,
Yeah.
that's protected. And then what's the red part that's right along the street?
The brown, yeah, the brownish red.
That's business zone, but it's
Yeah, this is
restricted.
zone. Here, I'll move the zone.
It's restricted.
Right.
That's got,
There you go.
yeah, there you go, okay.
Yeah, I can see
All right,
the
now now you got it right, okay.
Now
That's
you
a-
see,
No.
That's the zone as well. The zone is on top. Yeah, yeah.
You
Dylan,
can't do
could
anything
you-
with that.
Dylan, if
Yeah.
you show them that little end piece to the L, right there, it is
Yes.
restricted, but it's not restricted for emergency access.
Yeah.
So we'll
Thank
put a
you.
gate there and a gravel road, so emergencies, if heaven forbid North Street was ever blocked.
Correct.
So there's a lot going on all of a sudden here. And I don't mind it from a planning standpoint. I'm sure, I know this, I know the senior center will do the right thing. I'd like to think the owners of the corner lots will do the right thing. And if and when we ever found a housing developer in the back, let's, this town has very little elderly housing, very, very little. That's, so I know I did tell Mike this, so I'm feel comfortable requesting that I like the idea, but I don't like it right at this moment.
All right, so somebody want to make a motion to table it? You guys all agreeable to that?
I think so. I think we've got too much going on at one time there.
Yeah,
Not
and
sad,
we'll know more in July or right after town meeting, we'll know
Yeah,
more.
done. Yeah, we can bring it up again.
Sounds good.
Town meetings.
I don't need a
Make a motion
motion.
to table.
You don't need one, John. The chair can
Yeah.
table anything.
Okay,
So we're just gonna table it. That's it. All right. All right.
So we're tabling the North Ave and Milford Street.
Yes.
Okay.
So how's he gonna put a gas station, convenience store in a corner lot, considering that Cumberland Farms was gonna put something there and they decided they couldn't because of
Because
the
they
public water
They didn't
supply?
have town water. Well, he'll make a public water supply.
And-
But
and
it
so
doesn't have the clearance for it, doesn't have the land for
I
it.
don't know.
Barry, that's the $1 million question, and I talked to the engineer about it. He didn't even know that Route 16 is scheduled to be rebuilt, probably in next summer. So he had some homework to do. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I haven't seen anything. I've only talked to him on the phone.
Yeah, just going by past history, they
Yeah.
withdrew because they couldn't get the clearance for a public water supply.
Well, there you go.
They wanted to buy land from the town to do it, and we said no.
Well, yeah.
That's up to them.
Discussion on 3537 Hastings.
I just wanted you to know, because I was out with my knee and Bill was out, and I know one of you couldn't make a meeting. We canceled. We didn't have anything on it, but that 35 Hastings has filed. It's been distributed to all the department heads. I actually got something today from Conservation. And the first hearing is in 2 weeks.
Now,
Yep.
The conservation, I got an email here from, well, Jack, we kind of briefly talked about it. And that's
Yeah.
that's Oxbridge Road though, right?
Yeah, can we stay on? I'd like to get to that, but if we can go back to Hastings,
Sorry.
I'll have prepared for you. Now, I know that Jay and Damon have a conflict, and Bill does. And I don't, Barry and John, do you have one at all?
But what, that doesn't matter.
Conflict of interest.
They approved that we can vote.
Huh?
Well, then I can vote anyway.
All right, Jay wasn't here.
Yeah.
We still need to do it again because it's a new application. And it'll be what we call the rule of necessity. And essentially, it's that an applicant has the right to be heard. It's not their fault whether you're in conflict or not. And it'll be a statement you'll individually make that you have no financial interest in this and that you'll be unbiased and blah, blah, blah. We'll have that ready for you. But Barry and John, you're good, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so it'll be Bill, Damon, and Jay. That's that. The other one, I got I got my knee operated on. This is too much information for everybody, but I fell on Friday.
Oh,
Not
for
big
God's
deal.
sakes.
I feel all right. It's all right, but I was out of it. I never got the email till this morning from Isabella, the conservation agent, and she is asking with Carl, and Carl's here. In 2019, the planning board approved a development at 4549 Uxbridge Road. And also in doing so, because you are the stormwater permitting agent for the town, and that was enacted in 2014, it was implied, at least in the decision, that you also granted a stormwater permit. What the Conservation Commission, through its agent, is asking is that since some of this, good portion of it, it may be out of their jurisdiction because it's upland, that's a question. They would like the planning board via Jeff Walsh to take a look and see if there's any violations of that permit that was given in 2019. Sounds pretty straightforward. I talked to Jeff twice. He obviously remembers it all too well, and he is prepared to do so. But I also had a discussion with the applicant, and the applicant refuses to pay the peer reviewer. So, I had no other direction other than to place him on the agenda for the 18th and for you guys to have a discussion with him about that.
Jack or Carl, is it that, that there was a potential violation of the permit or that the permit was not extensive enough to cover the full scope of what's being done there.
No, what I read through the email is the may is the key word, a violation of your permit that was granted in 2019.
Gotcha.
I can give the historical background if you're interested.
Yeah,
I didn't know we started.
Okay.
that's the drilling, not breaking the stone wall.
So I mean, you guess we can, Carl,
Okay. This property had a planning board stormwater evaluation completed in before 2020, I think 2019. And last December, there was significant stormwater flooding on the parcel into the adjacent wetlands. We met with John Nienart, and that site is now under an enforcement order. We did not issue a stop work order, but as part of the enforcement order, we are now soliciting for a peer review of their remediation plan to clean up the stormwater, to clean up the siltation in the adjacent wetlands. One of the areas of concern that members of the Concom have noted is that sometime after Planning Board issued their stormwater permit, the top of the hill, the uplands, was clear cut. There used to be trees there, and there's now just grass or gravel. And the concern is that whether the state regulations allow the Concom or the Planning Board to say that stormwater permit that was issued initially is no longer valid. It is time for either Concom or Planning Board to do another review. At the last Concom meeting, an attorney for the applicant stated quite clearly that he felt that it was not jurisdictional for Concom. And I said, well, if it's not jurisdictional for us, it's definitely jurisdictional for Planning Board. Isabella has done some researching of the regulations, and it may be that since the clear cutting directly impacted the stormwater flow into December, it may actually be jurisdictional for Concom. So that's the situation. There will be a peer review for that the applicant will pay for reviewing the replication to be done this summer. The question is whether either the Concom or Planning Board can require that there be a peer review for the stormwater permit part of it.
Yeah, and I think the key thing Carl mentions is that when Jeff Walsh did his peer review, the trees were there, so the runoff I'm going to be careful with my words because who knows where this goes, may have been different than it is today. And has that difference been calculated properly and accommodated? And I don't think any of us can make that decision. Jeff can help you make a decision, but I need Jeff to get paid.
now, question, and I don't remember it, but when they came in for that site plan and everything, to get everything set up on that, there was talk that they were gonna make an access road to get up on the top so that they could get the material that they were taking out, the crushed material, they were gonna, or the, whatever, the blasted rock, and they were gonna bring that up top, and that was where they were gonna crush it and keep it there until they got the roadway done. So that was all in talk, so there's no way you can do that and without cutting trees, and you can cut trees, I think up to 5 acres approximately, and don't hold me to that, in upland without becoming a clear cut.
Yeah,
Correct?
but yeah, everything you said is probably correct, other than the 5 acres. I actually think it's more than that, but
Okay,
the question isn't that. The question is, has the calculations changed on the stormwater because of that? And now, indeed, are we seeing it in reality? That's all.
okay, the DEP went out there, Kyle, correct, twice? And said that there was very minimal due to 5 inches of rain in, those 2 heavy rainstorms we had, where they said there was multiple construction sites going, having water issues.
Yes, there was an issue in the December rainstorm, and then that's when Isabella and I went out on site. And at that time, John Nenart, for the applicant, went in and put in significant changes to the site to capture and mitigate storm flow runoff. The storms since then, there has been runoff into the wetland, but it has been clear. So the immediate problem has been stopped. The question is whether the stormwater evaluation done in 2019 should be redone on the basis that there's now a bare top of the hill. And
You're
yes,
under-
and I agree that what John Nenart said is that he had to clear the top of the hill in order to stage material on site. The question is whether when the stormwater evaluation was done in 2019, it was done with the expectation that the top of the hill would be trees or bare dirt, given that trees can retain a whole lot more stormwater.
Okay, Jack, when you talked to Jeff, did he obviously needed to revisit it because he didn't know off the top of his head?
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
what he didn't have an answer for you right away, right?
Oh, not at all. No, he'd
No.
have to visit the site, look at the information provided to Conscom and look at what was permitted and then analyzed back in 2019. He said it would probably be a couple grand. But I'm at an impasse here. I need to.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I've dealt with this before in other towns, and the applicant has the right to make his argument or her argument in front of the board as to why they don't want to do it. It's the board's decision, not the applicant's decision, by the way.
And
The
I just,
Concom heard that argument and is punting it to the planning board because it is jurisdictional for planning board. It may or may not be jurisdictional for Concom.
Right.
right, and I understand so during construction, it's a total different ball game than it is with the end result. So if you have a little bit of silt running down during construction, they did a couple detention basins and temporary things up there to stop the water. I don't know that the end result would have a stormwater problem.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I just think that sometimes there's a lot of people pointing fingers. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
we have to.
And it's a complicated site, just look at it. I drove
It's the
by there every
applicant, it's the
day.
applicant is the problem.
I
There's a
had
lot
no
of
idea
personal
what was
agendas.
going on. It's a complicated site and, Yeah.
Abnormal amount of rain.
Yeah.
and abnormal amount of rain, that's correct.
Hey, Kyle, has there been anything else, any issues there other like on a normal rainstorm?
No, as I said, since significant investment was made, a bunch of barriers, some flock blocks to trap silt and get it down to the bottom, all runoff into the wetlands has been clear. There's been every rainstorm, there's turbidity because the water rushing into the wetlands is stirring up the silt that's already there. And that is where there will be Goddard is preparing a mitigation and cleanup plan, and that will be peer reviewed by Concom.
Kyle, was the DEP was on site twice, correct? Looking at the silt?
They participated in site walks with Isabella. I was not at those, and I don't want to speak for Isabella or DEP, but any concerns that DEP has, they're channeling through Isabella, and they're part of our enforcement order.
Okay, but did they say that there was an issue there other than and that they needed to get it out right away? Or did they
No.
say wait till the summer to do it?
No, they specifically said don't clean up the wetlands until the dry season.
Okay,
So there is not an immediate emergency. The site is in good shape right now. The question is whether the stormwater evaluation done in 2019 needs to be revisited. And if so, who pays for it? And so that's the controversy at this point.
okay. Thank you.
Never a dull
So they're
moment.
coming in on the 18th, so I guess that's just we'll just have to deal with it at that point.
Yep,
Kyle, do you have anything else you wanna?
Nope, I was here we're going to be getting Hastings Street in front of us later this month, so I wanted to get a here, see if you were discussing that further.
Yeah, it's not the hearing, Carl, so I'm just giving them a FYI.
Yep. There is an ANRAD that was approved a couple years ago. That's still valid, and that'll make our life, the Concom's life a whole lot easier.
Great, thank you very much. Anything else?
No? Gail? Dylan?
No,
Motion adjourned.
There a second? All in favor?
Aye.
See you guys.
Have a
Yeah,
good day.
See you on
Hope
the
you
eighth,
feel better.
right? April
Ah.
8th.
Don't say break a leg, please. I'll see you guys on the 18th. I hope to be there. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. All right.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know what the heck we're getting. We're done? We're done.